Welcome to Ion Plainsboro. My name is Anthony Cancro. I'm the Township Administrator for the Township of Plainsboro. I'm joined today by Brian Miller, who's the Director of Code Enforcement. We were here last in mid-April in the same site looking at a new retail project with a Panera, a Five Guys, and a Pet Value project. Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about what has transpired between our last visit and today as far as code enforcement?
Well, as you can see, Anthony, since last April, a lot of work, a tremendous amount of work has occurred at this site, including the installation of the exterior walls. The wall finishes are being installed now, the siding, the stucco, the windows are being installed at this time, and the building is becoming closed in.
What would be the next phases after they enclose the building as far as inspections that your department will do?
Well, as part of this work, a lot of interior work is happening as well. The concrete floor has been poured and all the underground work has been inspected and approved, such as the underground electric and the underground plumbing for those fit outs like Panera and Five Guys and Pet Value.
And what will follow once the interior inspections are done? What type of site improvements will be done on the outside of the project and as far as supplying power to the actual site?
Well, the site work is underway. As you can see, there's a lot of activity here. There's some underground storm drain work. Back here, Liberty Street will continue through the site to Scudder's Mill. Where you see most of this equipment will be parking. And like you said, when those underground utilities such as Public Service Electric and Gas for gas and electric and New Jersey American Water provide those utilities to the site, they in turn will be run into the building to service the mechanical systems of the building.
So once all the work is done and all the inspections have occurred, I understand there's two options of your department giving a certificate. Can you explain the two options and what the difference between them might be?
Sure. For a project such as this, we will probably be issuing the applicants temporary certificates of occupancy as opposed to a full certificate of occupancy. And the reason for that is typically the prior approvals that are involved in a project such as this. We have the township engineer, CME, that's involved in this site work and the approval process. We have other entities such as Freehold Soil involved. Our planning and zoning department has also involvement in ensuring that the applicant complies with the planning board's approved plans. And a lot of that involves exterior elements to the building, such as landscaping and things like that.
What would you estimate the approximate time when this project will be done? I know we stood here several months ago with Les Varga, the Director of Planning, and we talked about all the processes that he had to go through the planning board, and we estimated when the project might be completed. But based on the progress that they've made to date and what you see today, what would be your best guess when this project will be done?
Well, I think we're right on target. Back in mid-April, we had anticipated about 6 months to completion. That would put us around the end of September, beginning of October. So based on the fact that it's the end of July today, they are, in my opinion, more than halfway through the project. I think you'll see within the next month a lot of these things coming together, the site work being completed, the building will be closed in, the interior finishes will be installed. So I anticipate probably by the beginning of the fall we should be seeing occupancy to these buildings.
Thank you very much, Brian, for joining us today.
Welcome.
We'll be right back with Tom Troy of the Sharbell Development Corporation. Tom, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Tell us a little bit about your company, Sharbell Development Corp., what you've done in New Jersey and what you've done here, particularly in Plainsboro.
Sure. We've been in business here in New Jersey since 1984. We started out in West Windsor doing, typical single-family subdivisions. Over the years, we've expanded into multifamily, active adult, and lately a little bit more of the type of development you see here in Plainsboro, which is mixed use, combination of office, retail, residential, different types of residential. And that's really been our primary activity in the last dozen years or so. Here in Plainsboro, we started in 1993. We acquired what was remaining from the original developer of the Gentry. It was about 50 single-family homes. We built those and then proceeded to build property next to it. And during that time frame, became involved with the town and the landowner here with the Village Center development. So that's been Plainsboro's activity.
And we're literally off of the Village Center, off Sharks and Scudder. Right behind us is one of your new projects.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that project?
Sure.
We're very excited about it from the town.
Yeah, well, we all are, I think. This is really the last piece, at least to date, of what we call the Village Center development. It's been the corner, the most visible corner of the property. But it also had, I think, some challenges as to the type of tenants that we were attracting and potential users that we were attracting. And I think there's been a very high degree of sensitivity to exactly what was placed here by not only ourselves, but I know, the town council and the mayor all had some very serious concerns about putting the right use here. It's important, I think, to remember that this whole concept was started by a proposal to put a Shell gas station on the corner here, and it yielded what we have now. So it's certainly worth the effort to think it through. But we're very satisfied with where we are. We have a Panera restaurant in the very end cap of the building at the corner. Next to that is a Pet Value.
That far corner.
The far corner at the corner of Sharks and Scudders. They'll have some outdoor dining associated with that space, which we think is the right use of that corner. Next to that is a Pet Value store. There's one small vacant space there, about 1,800 feet, which I'm sure will fill once the building is finished. And then on the other end cap, closest to us now, is a Five Guys hamburger restaurant. We think they'll all be open certainly by the end of the year. I think Panera will be open, and perhaps Pet Value probably towards the end of October. As you can see, the building is fairly well advanced now. We're just now completing the site work and whatnot, so things are moving fairly quickly there.
Good. We've been out to this site in mid-April, and then again not too long ago, and we came out with Les Varga, our Director of Planning, and Brian Miller, our Code Enforcement Director, to talk about the planning process to where we got to this point, and also the code approvals that went into place. Can you give us a little bit more detail what is actually going on behind us and the level and type of work that is today and what has to be done to complete the project?
Yeah, I mean, it looks a little chaotic now, but clearly there's a plan for everything out there. What you see happening right now is the curbs are going in, the underground utility work, sewer, water, gas, electric mains have all been run already. The curb is going in now to basically allow us to complete the paving and the underground stormwater management components. That's the primary work that's happening on the site itself. Around the front of the building, what you can't see, there's a fairly intense design for some brick retaining walls and public walkways, and the seating areas I mentioned earlier. They're in the process of being started right now. On the building itself, we have a combination of things happening. The exterior envelope is being completed. You see the siding and the masonry and the storefront and whatnot all happening in various stages right now. We're in different levels of completion there. The roof is done. The heavy mechanical equipment, the rooftop units have been placed for the most part already. There's still some connection happening there. And then inside the spaces, they're all at various degrees of completion. Panera has done some of their interior fit out. They're actually waiting until we complete a few more pieces of the site work, and then they'll come in and complete their work. We're doing the fit out for Pet Value to the point where it'll be taken to basically a completed interior. They'll then come in and install their shelving units and whatnot. And then Five Guys is taking the space from basically the shell and doing their own completion. I think they're in the process right now of waiting for their permits to be obtained, and that should happen within a matter of the next few days. So there's a lot going on both on site and behind the scenes in terms of planning and scheduling and whatnot.
Good. Let's go back to the idea of the village center and the concept behind it. I know there's some residential units you built around here.
Yes.
There's the plaza across the street.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about, in your opinion, why the village center concept is an appealing concept, and how does this complement that?
Well, I think it's an appealing concept in the particular context of Plainsboro. I don't think it's safe to say that you could pick up this concept and put it pretty much anywhere. It really is driven by what's around it. You know, the term from back many years ago, I think into the late 90s when we first acquired this property, was that this was always seen as the hole in the donut, and it needed to be handled in a more delicate and sensitive way than what the then zoning allowed, which was, I think, 15 or 16 single-family houses. I mean, you had an opportunity here, and to the town's credit, they saw that opportunity to create a place that everybody who lived or worked around it could come and benefit from. So that process was time-consuming, but I think well worth the dividend that we see now. It's been a very collaborative process, starting from the mayor on down and the planning folks, the town council members, the regulatory boards, the planning board, zoning board, the consultants. Everybody kind of had to share the vision, I think, or it would have never gotten to where it is today. It's a process that, as I said, I think has paid off in the long run. And hopefully, I think, as a former resident of Plainsboro, I know that the people that I lived near and saw socially and in the community, I haven't heard many negative comments about it. I think everybody kind of appreciates it. It gives them a sense of having a town with an identity that maybe they didn't have before. And certainly the addition of the library and some of the other public amenities here, I think, has really helped turn it into that.
We've gotten a lot of all positive feedback about it. And
good.
The fact that you mentioned you were a resident here, I think, for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Tell me why it's important for you, this project, and what you've done in Plainsboro.
Look, I mean, we're not a big company. We're not a national company. We're big enough to be able to do these types of projects, but we're very much a local company. I mean, we have 40 employees. Most of them live in the area and the towns immediately around where we work. This is our backyard. We have a great deal of direct accountability for what we do. I can't just say I'm going to build a little subdivision somewhere 200 miles away, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, great, and go on to the next one. We're here. We're members of the community. We take pride in what we do. I think it's paid off in terms of loyalty that we have from some of our buyers. I mean, we have second and third generations of families buying and living in our homes. We have homes that we built for people who have bought from us in the 80s. They've either upsized or downsized. Their kids have bought from us. And in many cases, we have 2 or 3 generations coming in. So we know the market. It's been a tremendous advantage for us because we really know the nuances of the market, and opportunities that may or may not be obvious to others sometimes present themselves to us. And that doesn't happen without having, you know, real boots on the ground locally. That's the best thing I can say about our organization.
We committed ourselves when we started to 3 segments. One, talking about the planning and the code. This segment, which is the second. The third one, we want to do a ribbon cutting when that happens.
Wonderful. And
your best guess? I'm going to hold.
Well, like I said, we're shooting right now to see. We have to deliver the spaces to Panera and Pet Value between now and the early part of October, basically a couple months from now. I don't think there's any reason for that not to happen, given where we are.
Good.
The variable will be when they're completed and ready to do their, they still have training and fit out and stocking and whatnot. So I would anticipate sometime either late October into November, but certainly we'll keep you posted on how that.
So hopefully
advances.
our ribbon cutting won't be with winter jackets in
well,
in a blizzard. And,
that's Mother Nature's call, not mine.
Thanks,
Thank
Tom,
you.
for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Great to be here.
I want to thank Tom Troy, President of Sharbell Development Corp, for joining us today, and thank you for joining us on Eye on Plainsboro.